Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to eHealth Indonesia 2020 Goes Online. My name is Haris and I'm going to be moderating this webinar. This webinar is going to be presented by Ms. Milo from Nyenrode University. And please stay behind and stay tuned until the end of this webinar because we will hold question and answer at the end of the session. And if you have any questions about the presentations or about the country's higher education, you can submit your questions on YouTube comments anytime throughout the presentation. And right now, without any further ado, please welcome Ms. Milo for her presentation. Time is yours.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And well, very nice to meet you all through this way. I will start sharing my screen with you in the presentation. So I hope you can all see my screen right now.
Yes,
well, okay. Well, my name is Milo van Meulenkom. I work as program advisor for Nyenrode Business University. And I'm very pleased to be here. And I'm going to tell you a bit about the international programs we offer at Nyenrode. So this is the agenda for today. I will give a brief introduction about Nyenrode, and then I will tell a bit more about our master program, the Full-Time Msc Management, our MBA program, the Full-Time MBA program, and at last, our Bachelor Program, the Full-Time BSc in Business Administration. So, some history about Nyenrode Business University. It's actually the only private research university in the Netherlands, and that's something quite unique because all other universities in the Netherlands are actually public. We were founded just after the Second World War in 1946, and the idea was really to just build up the Netherlands after the big crisis of the Second World War. So the idea was for business and by business, and we were actually established by some very big nowadays multinationals like Philips, Unilever, Shell, KLM, and AkzoNobel. I guess that some of those companies are actually quite familiar for you as well. We do offer many different programs, from bachelor's to master to MBA programs, but also many executive education programs actually meant for professionals who want to just add their knowledge and broaden or deepen their knowledge. So we do also provide many short programs for people who are already working, actually. All programs are actually in the field of business and management or accountancy, controlling and fiscal law. So that's our main focus. We therefore are a business university. We have currently more than 4,000 full-time and part-time students. And we actually have a very strong network of many alumni spread along the world. But you have to see that we are actually quite a small university. We're very much renowned within the Netherlands, and our network is spread over the world, but worldwide, we're not one of the main bigger universities, so to say. About our location, we are actually located in the Netherlands, like I already mentioned, and we have actually two locations. Our main location, I can try to show it to you, is in Breukelen, which is just right in between Amsterdam, the capital, and of course the most famous city in the Netherlands, and Utrecht, which is one of the other main cities in the Netherlands. And we are located just right in between at a very beautiful estate from the 13th century. So we have this castle, which you can see here in the picture. Well, of course, like I already want to mention, you're of course not going to live in the castle if you choose our university, but we do have the castle on our estate, and it's of course very beautiful on those sunny days to just walk around the estate and watch the castle. The other location we have is actually in Amsterdam, and it's right in the historic city center along one of the canals. So that means it's also near to the airport, Amsterdam Schiphol. You might have heard of it. And here you just see the picture of the Netherlands. So you have a clue of where we are located. About these two locations, you can choose for yourself which location you would like to study, at least for two of our programs. The Full-Time Mba program only takes place in Amsterdam. The other two international programs, the Bachelor and Master, take place at both locations. So you might choose which location suits you best. Let me go a bit deeper into the differences of the two locations. Well, like I mentioned, Breukelen, it has this castle, beautiful estate with 750 years of history. It's located approximately 25 kilometers from Amsterdam, so it's very close by. You can, of course, travel back and forth by public transport, which is really good in the Netherlands, to Amsterdam or to Utrecht if you want to, but you can live on our campus. The campus includes all kinds of housing facilities. We have a restaurant, a library, of course, for all those intensive study hours. We have lecture rooms, meeting rooms. We have a gym, a rugby field, and there is a very nice student association which you can take part of and participate in all kinds of social activities, sports activities they organize. And so this is the one of the locations you can choose for. Like I mentioned, the Msc Management program takes place there and the BSc in Business Administration. This also means that all the students that choose our location in Breukelen, they actually live on the campus. So you will really have this family, cozy atmosphere when you choose our location in Breukelen, and you will feel very soon at home in the Netherlands. The other option you have is actually our location in Amsterdam. It's the picture below. We have a beautiful historical building right in the city center. It's close to the financial district of Amsterdam, very important. And many multinational companies are also located nearby, like Netflix, for example. It includes an incubator for startups. So if you have some of an entrepreneurial spirit, you might actually get a space in our startup incubator, and you can start your own business after you've finished your studies. We have a library there, lecture rooms, and there's also a student association, which has somewhat less intense activities, but you still have a lot of options for to get to know people and organize social activities. The main difference with our location in Breukelen is that we don't have a campus in Amsterdam, so we don't provide student housing there. We do have some possibilities for you to live in Amsterdam because we know it's very hard to find a room yourself. So we do have an agreement with an external party who can provide you with housing. I can, of course, tell you more about that if you are very much interested in this in one of our programs. The international programs that take place at our Amsterdam location are the BSc Business Administration, the Msc Management, and also our Full-Time Mba. Then, about Nyenrode's mission. What we say actually as our main mission is serving society by shaping responsible leaders. And we have three values that we value a lot. That's actually leadership. We recognize and act upon opportunities. We make meaningful contributions and we make a difference during moments of truth. We also very much value entrepreneurship. I already mentioned this incubator in Amsterdam. We do like people to make their own ideas and start their own business. So proactive, creative mindset that enables achieving defined objectives, and also stewardship, which is sometimes a bit more harder to understand what it actually means, but it has to do with taking responsibility. So it's also taking responsibility for the environment, taking responsibility for other people. It's a bit principle of CSR, corporate social responsibility. And these values all, of course, belong together. Something short to tell about our accreditations. It's always very important when you're looking for a business school, a good business school in Europe or anywhere else in the world, to look at the accreditations. Two of the most important ones are actually AQUIS and AMBA. There's a third one in the business school world, and we are actually right now in the process of getting that accreditation. And if we would get the three of them, then we're actually one of the Triple Crown business schools, which is a very important measure for business schools to see about their, to value the quality of the business school. The third one that you see here, the NVAO, is actually a Dutch accreditation, which is important for all Dutch universities, because that means that we're actually capable of giving good quality education. Well, this is all these companies actually belong to our business network. So here you see some examples, Shell, KPN, DSM, Philips. These are all companies that belong to our network. Sorry, there was some noise in the background. Also, an important part of the education that we provide is actually what will you learn, or actually what are you going to do after graduation. So we have a very strong department which focuses on your career and personal development. Here you also see a picture of Willem van Dongen, who's actually head of this department. And this department provides all kinds of services like career and network events. They organize workshops. They give you advice on your CV or how to write a cover letter, or even when you're in your application procedure for a job, how to go into this application interview, this job interview. What kind of questions can you expect, and can we already practice that? They give you career coaching, so you will have individual one-on-one sessions to talk about what will be your next step and how to get there, and how can we get you in contact with certain people. Also mock interviews. And this is really one of the values, I would say, that makes Nyenrode unique, that we really already think along with you as a student on what to do next after your studies. Because of course, you don't only study to just study, it's also to get some opportunities for your future career when having graduated from a university. What makes Nyenrode also unique is this combination of three components. So of course, we do provide academic theory, solid academic theory. That's of course part of every program that we offer, but there's also a lot of practical relevance. And that has more to do with the fact that we are this university that is actually founded by business and for business. So we try to integrate as much business cases as possible, real-time business cases. So you don't only get academic theory at our business school, but you really get into the practical relevance of everything you learn. So we do invite CEOs from important companies within the Netherlands, where of course also many international companies are located, to discuss the academic theory that you just got throughout all the courses. And then there's also a very important factor, which I already briefly mentioned, and that is the personal development. So this is all about how to behave yourself in group work, how to develop your own personal capacities, and how to get better, and how to become a responsible leader. So these are the three components that make Nyenrode unique and makes studying at Nyenrode more than just a study. Well, that's at least my opinion. And then to dive a bit more into deep about the three international programs that we're actually offering at Nyenrode University. We do, of course, also have many Dutch programs. That's mostly used for all our executive educational programs, but we do have three international programs that are actually perhaps interesting for you. So let me first go into our master program, the Full-Time Msc Management. Then I will tell a bit more about our Full-Time MBA. And at last, I will go and dive into a bit more the Bachelor in Business Administration. So our Full-Time Msc Management. I already mentioned it's offered both at our Amsterdam location as well as at our Breukelen location. It's a program that's actually meant for young professionals. That means people that have already graduated from their bachelor program and have up to more or less 2 to 3 years of work experience. The bachelor you can have in any field, so that means you don't need a management bachelor or a business administration bachelor. It can also be, for example, a bachelor in law or a bachelor in medicine or even a bachelor in psychology. Of course, it's important that you need to have some affinity with topics like statistics or mathematics or finance, because of course, these kind of topics are a main aspect in your Msc Management program. But it's not a necessary thing to already have done all kinds of topics in business administration. Within our master program, we have around 70% Dutch students and around 30% internationals coming from all over the world. Most of the time we have more than 20 different nationalities. So it's really an international setting with many very interesting cultural, cross-cultural experiences. The program takes 16 months. That's including a pre-master program. So if you don't come from a university of a research university, you need to take the pre-master, but that's actually already included in the program. So in total, it will be 16 months, 4 months pre-master, 12 months master program. There is this very important aspect of personal leadership and career development integrated in the program. So that means that every month you have different sessions about your personal leadership and career perspectives. And that's just part of the academic program. Just tell you also something about the fee structure of the program. Every semester costs around 10,000 euro, 9,750. And that means that in total, the investment you make is approximately 29,250 euros. And that's just for the tuition fee. I will get into the scholarships a bit later, by the way. Also, to give you some information about some other financial expenses you can expect, on-campus housing in Breukelen costs you approximately 350 euros per month. And then, of course, you also have your own living expenses. The start of the program is every year mid-August. So the next intake will be August 2021. The Full-Time Mba Program. This is actually a one-year program, and this program is only offered at our Amsterdam location. The profile here of our students is a bit older, actually, than the Full-Time Msc Management program. And here we also ask at least 3 years of work experience, although the average actually is 5. So you must think of people, mostly internationals, that are like, well, end of their 20s, beginning 30, who are doing our Full-Time Mba program. The Full-Time Mba program we offer is very much focused on European business, and it also includes 6 European immersion modules. So that actually means that you go for a weekend to these European destinations that are mentioned here: Prague, Munich, Madrid, Copenhagen, Valencia, and Brussels, to go into deep to go into the practice of all the academic knowledge that you gain throughout the program. So you will visit several companies, you will talk with CEOs, have exchanges there, work on actual business cases. And what's I think also important to mention is many times people do get internships or jobs out of these visits, because if you already get to know some companies and you get into contact with people who work there, it might be that they will offer you a job after graduation. Also throughout the program, there are Meet the CEO sessions, presenting ideas to CEOs. That's just happening in the Netherlands. So sometimes we invite CEOs to come to our Amsterdam campus, give presentations, but sometimes we also visit those companies within the Netherlands. Of course, many companies are actually located in Amsterdam, but also some tech tech companies are actually located in the region of Eindhoven. You might have heard of it. That's also just 1.5 hours from Amsterdam, or companies located near the harbor of the Netherlands, Rotterdam, or the city The Hague, where the government of the Netherlands is located. All kinds of opportunities there. Like I already mentioned, many students who actually choose this program are actually from abroad. It's a very international group of people, around 30 to 35 every year, and 70% of them actually stays in the Netherlands after graduation. The tuition fee for this program is 32,000 euros. Flights, visa, and housing are not included. And it's important here to take into account that living expenses in Amsterdam are quite high nowadays. We're not that bad yet as London or New York, but Amsterdam, it's really getting a very expensive city, unfortunately, of course. So you should calculate around 1,000 euro per month for housing expenses in Amsterdam. We do have this, like I already mentioned, this agreement with this external partner that can help you with housing in Amsterdam, but still around 900 to 1,000 euros a month is quite an ordinary amount to pay in Amsterdam for housing. Start of the program every year is September, so the next intake is September 2021. Then the Bachelor Program. This is a 3-year program, as most of the academic bachelors in the Netherlands. It's all about to gain business and management knowledge with a focus on a sustainable business future. So here again, this value of stewardship is a very important one. There's a lot of focus throughout this 3-year program on professional and personal development. Another interesting aspect is sports. It's actually also integrated in the program. Sports activities can be anything, can be rugby, can be doing exercises in the gym, can be rowing, whatever. But it's a necessary, essential part of the program. So you will do that with the rest of your fellow classmates. There is an exchange semester in the 3rd year. You can choose from one of our partner universities. And also during this 3-year program, there is a company project where you'll actually dive into a project together with a company. It's a kind of small internship program, you could say. There's a fundraising project, a company fair, there are Dutch language courses, all to get you and let you feel at home in the Netherlands. The fee structure is as follows. The 1st and 2nd year you pay around 20,000 euro. The 3rd year is 21,000 euros. Housing on campus in Breukelen, approximately, 320, 350 euros a month. And in Amsterdam, it's like the things I already mentioned for the full-time MBA, it's the same one. It's around 1,000 euros. Admissions. I just covered the admissions very briefly. It's more or less the same for all our 3 international programs. They're already open, so you can start applying for one of the programs. Of course, based on your own background, you have to choose which program suits you best. You can fill in the application form online through our portal. There's an admissions test included for all 3 programs. We make use of our own Nyenrode admissions test, which is a kind of a general capacity test or IQ test, if you like. We do also accept GMAT, which is of course the renowned international admissions test. But what we see is that many students struggle quite a lot with the GMAT. So we do offer our kind of light version of the GMAT for our Nyenrode admissions test. So if you have the option and you would like to go for one of the programs at Nyenrode, I do really recommend you to take our own Nyenrode admissions test because it's less intensive study than the GMAT. And also part of our admissions process is of course a personal intake interview, which can also take place online. So if you're living in Indonesia, no problem at all. We can just arrange that through either Skype or Zoom or Msc Teams or whatever. We do also require an English proficiency test, which can either be TOEFL, IELTS, or Cambridge Advanced. But you can start your application before you actually have this certificate. So that gives you some more time to go and apply for this English certificate and do some practice before you actually take the exam. Some information about scholarships. We do work with the Orange Tulip Scholarship, which is the Dutch governmental scholarship organization. You might have heard of it already. There are different opportunities for either 3 of the programs. You can just see it here on the slide. For every program, we also do have some program-related scholarships as well, and scholarships through our alumni network. So every year there's some alumni who provide some scholarships. So there are different opportunities because we really want to help out students who are in financial needs to pay the entire tuition fee. I think what is very important to mention here is that we do always try to help out students, but in the end, you also need to make your own investment for the program. So we never hand out full tuition scholarships, unfortunately. It's always a partial tuition scholarship. Up to most of the time, 1/3 or perhaps 50% of the total tuition fee. So you do need your own financial resources to be able to study at our university, but we are very happy to help out if you need a certain amount additional. Then I think my last slide, I think I'm perfectly in time. Here you see a picture of me together with my colleague, Amber. She will also, if you are interested in one of our programs, you can get to know us better coming Friday and Saturday during the fair. On Friday, it will be Amber who is answering and replying to all your messages. On Saturday, it's me. If you do have further questions, you can, of course, always reach out to us through this email address, ftmsc@nyenrode.nl, or through my personal WhatsApp number. You can find more information on the website, of course. And if you're interested, you can also, of course, watch some videos. The first one is of our beautiful estate in Breukelen. And you have you can get a glimpse of the castle and what it all looks like. And the other one is from our Amsterdam location, and you also get a bit more feeling of our university. Well, thank you very much for this opportunity to give this presentation, and I think I'm now ready to answer all your questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Milo, for the presentation. Now we move on to a question and answer session. There are several questions that we would like to. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first question will be, you have mentioned before that to take the MBA programs in Nyenrode, it is required to have job experience, right? At least 5 years of experience.
Yeah.
How do we need to provide? For example, I have been working like 5 years, then do we have to provide like certificate or job recommendations, or what kind of proof that we need to provide in order to get the intake for the MBA program?
Yeah, well, this is all, of course, also just on a personal intake. So we will schedule an interview with you, and you can tell about the job experience that you have. We can, of course, also see, for example, on your LinkedIn profile, what is the job experience. And what we indeed sometimes ask is a recommendation letter from your current employer to have also some more in-depth knowledge of how you are as an employee, what are your career perspectives, what are your personal developments. So yeah, we do sometimes ask for a recommendation letter. That's always a good add-on, of course, when you start applying for a university program. But it's indeed also just based on your LinkedIn profile, and it's also just a kind of a general denomination, so to say. So we do like to have certain kind of student profiles in the same group. So for the master program, it's people that have not so much experience, and for full-time MBA, it's just a bit more experience, because it's also important that you can learn from each other. And that's why it's important that the student profiles in the groups are more or less alike.
Is there any specific job needed to get that MBA or master degree requirement? So, for example, it has to be in the e-commerce, or it has to be in private sectors.
No, actually, no, it's not. Of course, it's important that you can tell us when applying for a certain program why you would like to change or do a business management program or an MBA. So what it is, what you want to get out of it. But the job itself, it doesn't really matter. Although, of course, it helps when it's at least at a certain level. So if we can see that you, for example, have already some management experience, or you want to develop yourself towards a bit more managerial position or something like that. Yeah, but the sector or field is not important at all. No.
Okay, very well noted. Next questions will be, is there any PhD or doctoral in management program in Nyenrode?
We do have some PhD programs and PhD positions, yes, but then I would like to get you into contact directly with this department within our university, because I don't have the entire knowledge of the PhD positions that we offer at this moment.
Okay, but you do
So
have
then
a
we do have
doctoral
certain
program, right?
PhD. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So if you're interested in those kind of specific topics, then please just send me an email, and I will forward you to one of my colleagues. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, well noted. Next questions. Do you have any virtual program or like virtual online courses or virtual study from Nyenrode University, for example, during pandemic? Or do we have to be present at university to attend all the classes?
Well, because of the fact that we value this whole practical experience during our program so much, we try to offer as much of our courses, much as possible offline, so on our campus. But I have to admit that during this pandemic, that has been very difficult for us. So at the moment, well, I would say 90% of the courses are actually offered online. Especially now, at least until December. We hope that from January onwards we can go back to this offline experience. But it's very hard to look into the future and already say what is going to happen. But our focus is to provide as much possible of the lectures offline.
So in the past, it had to be present, right?
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
like virtual program or something like that.
No, 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 because it's really about this practical experience, working in groups, business cases. Yeah, you need to be present. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Next question. You have mentioned before that maybe we have already know that Amsterdam is quite expensive city. So is it any opportunity if we study there and we have already obtained our student's visa to have like part-time job or to look some job while we are in Amsterdam in order to get some money to fund ourselves in
Yeah.
Amsterdam?
Well, always depends a bit on the visa. On a student visa, you are only allowed to, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's around 12 to 16 hours a week. So that's not a lot, of course. That means perhaps 1 day or 1.5 day of well, finding a part-time job. But there are plenty of opportunities, especially in Amsterdam. It's such an international city. It's very easy to find a job as, for example, I don't know, in a restaurant or bar, or do something on the side. So yeah, that is a possibility. We do not always recommend it because there are certain weeks, and especially in exam weeks, that it's quite hard to combine, of course, a part-time job with your actual studies. But we do see that many students, of course, do take the opportunity of having a small part-time job. Yes.
Okay, next questions. We know that there are a lot of Indonesian students in Amsterdam. Like Amsterdam is very famous for us, and it's one of main destination for us to continue our study, right?
Yeah.
So for Nyenrode itself, you have mentioned that there are a lot of international students that study there. So do you think that Indonesian students will get bigger chance, or should we say it that the opportunity is equal for everyone, or do you think that it will be suitable for us to continue our study in Netherlands?
Well,
Because we know that it's already famous and we have a lot of
yeah.
students in Netherlands.
Yeah, and of course, I think also, if you look at the historical ties, of course, that the Netherlands has with Indonesia, not always good, perhaps, but there are very strong connections between our two countries from a historical perspective. So, yeah, that might, of course, be an advantage for students, because I also know that many Indonesian students, they do have some relatives or far away relatives living in the Netherlands. So that can, of course, always be a big advantage. We, of course, always value all our international and also Dutch students. We do treat them equally. So it's not that Indonesian students or Dutch students would have, have already a plus when applying to the university. But yeah, due to the strong connections, I would say it might be that also Indonesian students fit in quite easily in the Amsterdam and Dutch society. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we will be easier to like adapt in Netherlands
Yeah.
because we already have like strong connections.
Yeah, I do think so. And that's also what I see from our Indonesian students that we have had in our programs in the past.
Okay. And the last question for you, Milo, will be uh, would you please explain a little bit to us what is the biggest problem that may occur for international student, especially if you know from Indonesia during their study in Netherlands. So we can prepare to overcome or to handle this problem in the future if we are having opportunity to study in the Netherlands.
Yeah, that's a difficult question. I would say, I think in general for international students, what is hardest is that you start your program, and so you directly intensely have to dive into all the new academic theories and practical assignments, etc. But you also still have to integrate in the Dutch society and in your new life. You have to make friends, so you have different priorities, so to say. You want to do your studies, but next to that you also have your personal life, and you want to make friends and go out. And what we see with international students is that especially these first weeks and months can be quite intense, because you have to develop yourself on so many different levels. So what I would recommend you in this setting, it could be, for example, if your study program starts in September, please already come to the Netherlands in August. So you give yourself some time to adapt yourself to your new way of life, and already make some friends or get some connections, and you already feel a bit at home before you actually dive into an intense new study program. Yeah, that's
Wow, that's really great suggestion from you. Great advice. And I think, yeah, all the participants of webinar will take note that, yeah, we will start a new life when we start studying abroad, because we are far away from home. So we have to make it as soon as possible to feel like home, new home. So yeah,
Yeah,
adapting to new life is extremely important, so we can get good result when we are pursuing our study abroad.
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think that's all the questions that have been stated. Thank you very much, Milo, for uh, your present, for your
you're very welcome.
presentations.
Yeah,
Thank you very much, and we do hope that the pandemic will be over soon, so we can go back to our normal life. We
we really
can
hope so.
just simply go to Netherlands again, and we can continue our study. And
Exactly.
yeah, thank you very much for your time,
Thank
and
you.
I hope to see you soon again.
Thank you for this
So
opportunity and good
yeah,
luck with all the webinars this week.
thank you.
Okay, bye bye.
Goodbye. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon as well.